Hello my friends, welcome back to another tutorial. Something completely different this week. Very colourful, something a bit fun. So I'm going to show you the big huge painting I just finished. It's a big commission. I finished this, I put it on my Facebook page during the week. That's a big one, isn't it? It's a big painting. 2 meters by 1 meter. I thought I'd paint a small version of this for you. A nice little canvas and a nice little frame. I think it would look lovely. So I'm going to show you how to paint this. It's basically, if you go close, lots of dabs. Dab, 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 dab with the brush. Lots of complementary colours, cool colours, going into warm, into rich, warm, bright colours. So lots of complementary colours in this. So let's go and paint this. I think this is going to be a little bit of fun. A change from landscapes, I think. The ordinary painting trees and mountains and water, that kind of thing. A nice little change. You can just grab your brush and go wild. So let's have a bit of fun and paint this, my friends. Don't go anywhere. Okay, my friends, here we go. I have a canvas here. It's a pretty old canvas, actually. I had it a while. I did not prime this canvas. It's just a raw canvas. I gave it a quick coat of linseed oil. It's kind of drying in quickly, but lovely abstract painting. I'll tell you what colours I have. A lovely colourful palette. Titanium white. I have purple, dioxine purple, alizarin crimson, cadmium red, magenta, phaylo blue, cadmium yellow pale and black. Some turpentine and a couple of old brushes. Let's go. Now, you can see the photograph there. Isn't that lovely? Lovely and colourful. I think in a smaller painting now this will be really eye-catching. What I'm going to do really is start with the tree trunk. I think that will give us a nice position then to work from. Yes? So I'm going to take a small flat brush, dampen that. I am going to mix a nice grey, some white and a little black. Okay, nice medium grey. And because my canvas now was really very dry, I'll probably have to make these mixtures quite thin to begin with. Let's just try this, okay? Nice medium shade of grey here. Let's pick a point. I'll stay up a bit. I'll go like that. Okay. Then it comes down, it turns out, doesn't it? One side goes up into the tree, another one goes this way. And look, we don't have to be very particular with all of this. We can just do what you feel is comfortable for you. Let's just have a bit of fun with some colour. Okay, a bit of black in there. Just give this a nice anchor on the floor. That's what we want to try and do, all right? There. Now that's a nice thick anchor for a tree trunk, isn't it? Nice. Let's take some black. Gets nice and dark on this side, doesn't it? Really just to add a little shadow in here. Just to give it a bit of life, I suppose, if anything else. Now I'm going to make this slightly thicker. I want this tree trunk to really feel like it can hold all of this foliage coming out. Now I'll go to a smaller brush then. Small flat brush or a round brush, whichever you feel is easier for you. I'm going to take some black in that, pure black. And let's just come down one side, pop a little black in there. Give it a little wiggle as well as you go, don't be shy. Let's take some black, just black paint on its own, no thinners. And I'm going to darken that right down there, very dark, nice and dark. Then let's just break it up a little bit, so a little bit of dark in the center, like that. And I have to say, I really did enjoy painting that big one. It really, I suppose it almost opened my eyes really to different types of painting. Even if it's just a little touch of colour on a canvas. It was really eye-catching. I got some lovely, really lovely comments about the painting. So I thought, you know what, I think I'll do a small tutorial just to show people how they can kind of loosen up a little bit with their painting and enjoy it a lot more. Really, it's about grabbing some colours and lashing on some colours on your canvas and just seeing what happens. Okay, that's kind of the lesson really. So in other words, just don't be shy, don't be reserved with your painting. Just grab some colour and stick it on your canvas just to see what happens. I promise you, your eyes will be opened. They really will, to different types of painting. So there we go. Nice, simple suggestion of some light, just catching one side of that tree trunk there, okay? There we go. Now, I'm also going to, with my medium flat brush, add some very light grey just to the base of that tree, just a little, like so, just to kind of sit this down on the canvas, just sit this on the floor. It's a good idea to give something a little base to sit on. Would you agree? I think so. Just a little something. Come down like that, right down to the bottom. Now, as it goes over to the sides, clean my brush quickly, take some white, and just soften some white in over there like that, and leave it just disappear off, out to the sides. There we go. Nice simple little tree trunk sitting on the floor, and a little base for it to sit on. Okay? Nothing too drastic about that, is there? I'll take a touch of pink in that. A hint of pink down in there. Just a touch. Again, just add a bit of colour. Okay, we're done with the tree trunk. Nice and simple. Let's go on to push on and start putting in colours. What I'm going to do is start blocking in the different sections of colour first, okay? So you can see up here, there's a lot of blue, a lot of purple. So I'm going to start blocking in lots of dark blues and purples first. So I'll take some phthalo blue and some magenta. Let me try this. Now, nice dark blue up here in this corner. That just acts as a nice base, okay? And there's a little bit down here. You don't have to go crazy with this. Then, dry your brush. Let's get some magenta into that. Let's put some magenta. Even a touch of crimson as well. So a bit more of a pinky purple in here, to about halfways. And you can see I'm just being very rough with this. Very, very loose, very rough. A little bit of pink over here. And this is really the base coat. The exciting part is when you get to all these little dabs. Dab, 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 dab. That's when it gets really exciting, I promise. Now I'm cleaning my brush quickly. I'm going to mix a nice orange, cadmium red and cadmium yellow. And don't be shy with the thinners now, okay? Orange. Let's get a bit more red in this. Because going from purple to orange gives you a muddy colour. So a bit more red first. That goes like a nice warm pinky purple. And then you can make it that lovely orange. So look, I'm going to put that red first. You see now I'm mixing it all together, you see? Just adding a touch of colour. Then go into your yellow with the red and put in some nice orangey hues. Okay, then we go to some very bright colours, don't we? Let's take just yellow on its own. What I particularly love about this painting, that photograph, is you have cool colours and warm colours, and those two colours together are very complementary. So these yellows and reds and oranges are really complementing the blues and pinks. And that, I think, is the secret to a nice painting. Complementary colours. Don't never be shy with the colours. Okay? Now, already we have this lovely band of colours, like a rainbow, isn't it? That's the first stage done. Move on to the second stage. Let's not hang about. Smaller brush. Okay, a round one is ideal. I have a small little rough kind of a flat brush here, okay? It's absolutely fine. I'm going to start putting some lighter blues in here. So, with this brush, get some phthalo blue and some white. Mix that up, nice bright blue, and simply dab, 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 dab. Look at that, okay? Dab, 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 dab. Now, when I was doing this on the big painting, okay, it was fairly big, it was huge. I had to use this brush for all the dabs, and it took me hours and hours. It took me a couple of days, actually, to do all these little dabs. But that's the technique in the photograph. It's just lots of dabs. Dab, 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 dab. And But you know what? When you stand back then and take a look, it really is amazing. It really, really is amazing. The effect you get when you stand back and you see all the colours sort of blending in together slightly. But when you go close to it, you can actually see it's just lots of little dabs with the brush. Now, some pure phthalo blue on its own. Look, lots of phthalo blue on its own going into the dark side. You see how quickly now this can evolve? Isn't it just amazing? Okay, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to start making more of a purple. So a bit of magenta into the mix with some white. So now we're going to more of a light pink, you see? As it comes down into the dark pink section, then just add some magenta into your mix. Right down there, look at that. Just lovely. I think a painting like this, just on its own on a wall, I think would really add a splash of colour to a house, wouldn't it? Or to a room. It would really just jump, I think, wouldn't it? Let's try a bit of purple. You pretty much get the same result, but magenta and white. Little touch of purple. There we go. Up into the blue up here. I'm just simply looking at the photograph and seeing where the different shades are kind of blending in. Let's take some cadmium red and some white. Then that's a softer kind of a pinky colour, isn't it? Let's put a little bit of that in there. Small, small dabs. Already it's starting to look quite nice, isn't it? A bit more red. Let's get more red. Put a touch of red, because with the warm colours you want to go with the warm shades, with the cool you want to go with the cool, but like blue against red is beautiful. Blue against pink, mauve against reds. They're all beautiful little combinations. If I put a yellow in here now, or a green even, I just think it would clash. So I am being careful. Do be careful with the types of colours you're using. Crimson and cadmium red. And I'll add a touch of that over here. There we go. It's coming into the red. So it's getting a bit more on the red, isn't it? Isn't it just amazing now how quickly this comes together, how quickly it just turns into a painting? I think it's fascinating. Now I'm going to go a nice dark plum over here. I'm going to take some crimson and some magenta. And I'm going to go with that very rich, dark, reddy colour over here. You can see that beautiful touch of that colour just in this corner. Also, I'm just using paint on its own, okay? No thinners. And let it just soften away. You can see I'm adding little touches of it up into the blue as well. It's just because, you know, I don't want just lots of blobs of different colour here and there, so I'm kind of putting them through just slightly as I go along. Now, I'm going to start adding oranges. So I'm going to clean my brush. And I need to get more cadmium red on my palette. I know this may not be to your taste. It may not be to everyone's taste. I know a lot of people would like just see landscapes. I think it's just nice to branch out every now and then and try something different. Just go for it. This is not something I would normally paint all the time either, by the way. This is completely different to what I would normally paint. But I thought, you know what? The colours are just magnificent, so I think I'll just try it. And I was very pleasantly surprised when I did. So I may do a bit more of this type of painting, a bit more free, do you understand? I definitely will. I think it's very refreshing, something like this. So I would say definitely try it, yes. Now, a little bit of nice orange in there with that pink, look. And then coming down. And we could just translate that orangey colour then, just here and there, look, just one or two. Just to help it sort of merge across very, very slowly. See what I mean? I must give my brush a quick, very good clean because I have a bit of blue inside my brush. That's better. And I don't want the colours going muddy. So let's go into some cadmium yellow now, and again, a little hint of cadmium red. And I'm going much brighter with the colour. You see that? A little bit more yellow each time. As it comes across, it gets brighter and brighter and brighter, doesn't it? So a touch more of the yellow in the mix. You should definitely try this. This is so refreshing, I must say. And seeing the colours complement each other as well is fantastic. So you can actually begin to learn how certain colours will clash and certain colours will complement. It's a very, very good exercise. And it doesn't take long to paint at all. Let's try again, get some brighter yellows. I'm going to go right into some cadmium yellow on its own. Look, it has a bit of that orange in it, but it's primarily just a yellow. And I'm going to show you then how we get that very rich, vibrant yellow over here. It's very bright, isn't it? Oh, let's just go to town here. Let's go right in there and get some nice rich yellow. Thick cadmium yellow on its own. Beautiful colour, it really is. I'm going to go up here. I can see splashes of yellow around up here. Again, over here. I'm going down into the white of the canvas as well, just a little bit. Look, here and there. I will be getting a smaller brush now very soon, so don't worry. We will get some smaller details, some little leaves and stuff like that with a smaller brush. So not to worry, seriously, not to worry. This is going to be, I think, gorgeous, the end result. Really nice and really eye-catching. Dab, 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 dab. And you can use any brush you like for this. A lot of people use cotton buds, that kind of thing. And it's really whatever you can find around the house. It's one of those paintings you could do anything with. You could even use a fingertip if you like, anything. So don't be shy. Grab some kitchen utensils and just have a go. There's no excuse. Isn't that right? Now let me just sit back for a moment. Look at this already, what we have. Lovely colourful painting. Now, it's not on a wider canvas. You can see the photograph is very wide. This is just a 20 by 16 canvas. So it is a little bit on the smaller side. So that may affect how it looks a little bit. But look, it doesn't matter really. It's just an exercise. Now, I'm going to go and some white with the cadmium yellow. Get some nice rich brights up here. And you don't have to do this technique. You can go along and do little flicks with your brushes as well. That would look absolutely fine. But I just wanted to keep it kind of simple just for now, just a little bit simple. Just dab, 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 dab. A round little brush would be ideal for this. I'm just using my flat one. It doesn't matter really to me. If you really want yours to have that look, that dotted look about it, just use a regular little round brush, okay? Well, now, this is really starting to take shape. And how long did this take us? 10 minutes? That's all, my friends, 10 minutes to create a beautiful, colourful little painting. A nice little wall art for someone's house. You could give it as a gift if you wanted to, if somebody likes that kind of thing. And why not? Absolutely. A little touch of it over here, just into the purple, maybe a hint of it just in the reds here as well. Just to catch your eye, do you understand? It's just to catch the eyes just a little bit. Now, I'm going to go with some nice, rich, strong cadmium yellow on its own. And you can keep working on this now as much or as little as you like, okay? That's the beauty of this type of a painting. You can just keep going and going until you're happy. You don't have to feel like you need to stop. If you're not happy, just keep adding colour. Colour, 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 colour. Now look at this so far. Isn't this wonderful? Okay, I'm going to mix again a little bit of orange. Cadmium yellow, cadmium red. And I'm going to add that little touch of orange here and there in the yellows because they're complementary colours. And a few, now there's lots of orange around the centre, isn't there? Bright orange. Pop some of that in there. Let's put a few of them just around on the yellows here and there. Again, just to mix it up a little, just to kind of help it translate across the canvas. Take some of that pink, perhaps put a couple of little striking dabs of pink here and there. There we go. Now I also see a little touch of green up there, just on the right hand side. So I think a little touch of green will complement the oranges and yellows. So we could just try a little few dabs of pink, shall we? Or, sorry, green. Let's take some cadmium yellow, little phthalo blue. And I'm going to go for a warm green this time. Let's take some cadmium yellow, some phthalo blue, and a little hint of cadmium red. Go for a nice warm green. Plenty of cadmium yellow in there. And I can see just over here, plenty of it. Look, just a little few dabs here and there. And a little bit up there. You know, it's all about just the viewer's eye catching little tiny hints of this colour. Do you understand? So the eye is kept busy. Do you understand what I mean? It's kept very, very busy. See, just a little hint of green, I think there just makes all the difference. And then I'm going to give it a little hint of a dark green, and I'm going to go with phthalo blue and some yellow, very dark bluey green, and just little hints of that colour. It comes down the canvas as well, as if it's just falling out of the tree onto the floor. So you can see, look, with my small flat brush, just a few little flicks here and there. And now I'm going to start using my smaller brush as I go along, and I'm going to start, let's get some of this rich yellow. Now there's a bit of green in this, okay, it doesn't matter, it's mostly yellow anyway. Some of those warm greens. Again, just to create little sense of colour, just little touches of colour, leaves falling down, etc. Now, I'll stop there. I'm going to move over and do some of the purples and pinks. Let's get some magenta. Let's try a little bit of magenta with this smaller brush and just add little flicks of magenta falling from the tree. And on the floor there's lots of lovely pinky ones. Pinks, reds, oranges, yellows, lots of it. Look, just little dabs of it falling gently from the tree. Then I'll go with some cadmium red. Let's get some cadmium red. Go in here by the red and let some red fall. Isn't it just so easy? It really is. Next, I am going to get some orange. Now I need some fresh yellow. I'm going to take some fresh yellow there because my yellow is gone pretty much green, isn't it? So let's take some cadmium yellow and a hint of cadmium red. Get some nice oranges down here, a couple of oranges, flicking through here and there. Okay, isn't this lovely? Nice and simple. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I think it's refreshing. Very, very refreshing. I'm going to take some dark purple, blue and magenta, make a very dark purple. And I'm going to pop some real dark little flecks of purple here and there. We need some purples as well, don't we? Some pinks. So you can see now I'm starting to sort of make these little dabs slightly smaller. Further and further I go on with the painting, I'm making these dabs smaller just to give a bit more detail. It's not detail really as such, it's just smaller dabs just to make them more prominent and just to make them a little more darker in certain areas rather than having big blobs of colour. I'm going to put a couple up here. Then I'll go over and I'll start mixing some very bright blue. Add some very bright lights up there. Touch of phthalo blue. And some white. Okay. See that? Now you may feel that this is not the type of painting for you. And that's fine. But I would say just try it because it really does kind of open up your mind a little bit to just having fun with some colour rather than focusing on shapes and mountains and all that kind of stuff. This really just does open your mind up and put it on a very, very big wide canvas. And believe me, you'll be quite surprised at the result. You really will. And you'll think to yourself, you know, that's fantastic. I'm delighted I've done this. Okay, that'll do there. Next, I am going to, actually, I'll put some of those down here as well, look. Just to help translate that down onto the floor as well. I do want to put a little bit more of this warm colour. I want to kind of allow the foliage to sort of fall a little bit more down into the painting over here, rather than just having a lump, if you know what I mean. There we go. Now I am going to get some cadmium red on its own. Pop a little bit of red in here and there. Again, I go across the canvas, add some little dots of red over there. You can see I'm just really building up the painting. Now, another fantastic idea for this would be just to use a palette knife. And the palette knife will leave those big, thick clumps of paint on the canvas. That really gives a fantastic look as well. You can try that if you like. I did do that in the other one. Just towards the end, I got my palette knife and just put lots of thick blobs of paint on the canvas as well. The only thing is they do take very long to dry. They take days and days to dry, like that. But if you have plenty of patience, you've no rush, grab your palette knife and add plenty of paint with your palette knife as well. Okay. That's coming on quite nice, I must say. I'm very happy so far. I'm going to clean my brush and I am going to get some cadmium yellow on its own. Lots of thick cadmium yellow. And you can see how that's really sitting on the canvas and kind of sticking off the canvas a little bit. I like that kind of technique. I like the way it just kind of pulls off the canvas and leaves a thick blob of paint. It just adds a bit of life into the painting, I think. Couple down here, couple of nice thick ones on the floor. It's all just about colour, isn't it? Now I am going to get a small pointy brush. Nice small little round brush. Wet that. I'm going to take some cadmium yellow with some titanium white. And I'm just going to add a couple of little flicks of that here and there, you see. I don't want to overdo the painting either. I don't want to go crazy because you might lose the feeling. But definitely, you can grab a small pointy brush as well and have a bit of fun with that. Nice bright whitey yellow. Let's go in here and brighten some of that centre area as well. I think finally, I just need a little touch of, actually I'm going to brighten over here a little bit more with that yellow. I'm going to go over some of this green with that yellow just to lighten it a bit more. And maybe a little bit overpowering that green. So I'll just lighten it a tiny bit here and there. Then I'm going to go with a nice orange. Get some cadmium red and the rest of that yellow. That should do fine. Some nice bright orange in there. Now, wasn't that amazing how quickly we got that finished? Isn't it just amazing how fast it all just tends to come together at the end? Okay. And my friends, I think we're finished this. I might add a touch of that orange, that very light colour, just into the highlight of the tree. I think just to add a little touch of something to the tree. See, just like that. Now finally, if you wanted to use a palette knife, you could. Let's get the palette knife. Let's grab some of that green. Pop some of that on there. And let's grab some of this orange, this lovely red colour. Look, let's grab some red. Pop some red. That'll give you a nice kind of impasto type of feeling to the painting. And with the knife, of course, the colours are much more solid, aren't they? They don't tend to blend into the background too much. So definitely with the palette knife, let's grab some of this purple. I want to put some purple in here. And I'll get some crimson. And of course, these are all mixing then on the canvas. Look at that, lovely colours. Some magenta. Let's go with magenta. I might as well use up the colour I have on my palette because it'll only end up in the bin anyway. It's going to go hard. So I might as well use up most of the colour I have with my palette knife. Doesn't that make sense? Crimson over here into that yellow. Of course, that's making lovely colours. Finally, some blue. Let's just grab some blue. And some white with the blue. There. Now, isn't this lovely? I hope you've enjoyed this, by the way, just for a change. You know, I just wanted to try it, really. I just wanted to show you how you really can think outside the box. Even if you're a landscape painter, you really can think outside the box. Just try it. Don't be afraid to try it. I know you might say to yourself, it's not really my kind of thing, that kind of thing, but you know, if you just try it. To be honest, I wouldn't have thought of doing something like this until somebody asked me about doing one as a commission. And when I did it, I was just absolutely amazed at how much I enjoyed it. I'm going to leave it at that. I think that's just fine. I might darken down around here just a little bit, okay? Just a touch. Some dark colours down here. I think it just needs to be strengthened that little bit more. You can see it's more of a very rough type of a painting, isn't it? There we go. I'm finished, my friends. I'm leaving it at that. Let me just sign this. Get a bit of purple. Give it a quick signature. And there we go. Painting finished. I'm happy with that. I might brighten it maybe just a little there, but in general, I think that would look very nice now with a little frame on it. Nice bright white frame around it, and job done. What I might do actually is, just as I saw it there this minute, I might just take a bit of black and pop some real dark colour down the dark side of that tree trunk there, okay? Just to give it a little more presence. Just that little bit, you see? I think that helps. And there we go. My friends, thank you so much for watching. Let me turn this here for you. I really hope you've enjoyed painting this with me today. I appreciate that. And thank you for subscribing. Let me know what you think. Something different, something colourful, something to put a smile on your face. I'll see you next week. God bless and happy painting, my friends. Thank you so much.